In the next 18 months, the biggest wealth transfer in 75 years will happen. Millions will lose everything. A few will become generationally wealthy. The difference: 5 things you're buying right now that are quietly destroying your financial future. This is not a drill, and this is not a casual warning. We are standing on the precipice of a massive economic shift, a fundamental restructuring of the global financial order that guarantees pain for the unprepared while offering unprecedented opportunity for those who understand the mechanics of wealth. To understand the sheer magnitude of the destruction heading our way, we must look to the story of billionaire Ray Dalio. Back in 1982, Dalio made a catastrophic public failure. He went on national television and boldly predicted a devastating economic depression, positioning his firm to profit from the collapse. But he was dead wrong. The stock market rallied, the economy expanded, and Dalio lost everything. He was forced to lay off his entire staff, borrowing money from his father just to pay his family's bills. It was a painful, humiliating experience that shattered his ego. Did it hurt his ego? Absolutely. But instead of wallowing in fear and feeling inadequate, Dalio did something that fundamentally altered the trajectory of his life and built his immense fortune. He abandoned his ego, stopped trying to predict the future based on gut feelings, and turned to rigorous historical pattern recognition. He realized that the economy moves in a mechanical, predictable debt cycle. When you study history, you see that these cycles of deleveraging and massive wealth destruction repeat systematically over centuries. By recognizing these historical patterns, Dalio transformed his devastating failure into the foundation of his immense success. Now, as we approach the year 2027, Dalio's historical frameworks are flashing red warnings. The patterns are identical to the periods preceding the most catastrophic economic crashes in human history. But here is the insidious truth that society refuses to tell you. The upcoming wealth destruction will not primarily be caused by stock market crashes or massive geopolitical events. It will be caused by your everyday purchasing habits. The system is designed to keep you trapped, lazy, and poor. Before we dive into the exact 5 wealth killers that are systematically bankrupting you, I need you to make a choice. Are you going to be a casualty of this economic crash, or are you going to position yourself alongside the smart investors who will build generational wealth? If you want to be on the winning side of history, hit that subscribe button right now. Your future self depends on it. Which brings us to the first wealth killer that guarantees your financial destruction: cars. What society tells you is that upgrading your vehicle is a sign of success, a necessary reward for your hard work. This is an absolute lie. Buying a brand new car is financial suicide. The moment you drive that vehicle off the dealership lot, it experiences a devastating drop in value. This depreciation is a massive invisible tax on your net worth. Millions of people are currently trapped in underwater debt, owing far more on their vehicles than the cars are actually worth. This is the definition of a wealth killer. You are taking your hard-earned liquidity and sinking it into a depreciating asset that systematically drains your resources through high interest rates, insurance premiums, and maintenance costs. The opportunity cost of this decision is catastrophic. Imagine if instead of taking on an $80,000 auto loan for a luxury SUV, you bought a reliable, used vehicle for $15,000 in cash. You then take that $65,000 difference and invest it directly into a low-cost S&P 500 index fund through Vanguard or Fidelity. Because of the power of compound interest, over the next 30 years, that single decision would generate hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of dollars in wealth. Warren Buffett has repeatedly warned about the dangers of wasting capital on depreciating assets. You must stop sacrificing your future wealth for the temporary illusion of status. Cancel your desire to impress people you do not even like. Review your auto debt immediately. If you are trapped in underwater debt, you must take painful but necessary action to deleverage your life. Sell the car, buy something affordable, and protect your capital. Which brings us to the second catastrophic decision that is quietly destroying your financial future: housing. Specifically, the deeply ingrained cultural myth that your primary residence is your greatest financial asset. This is a devastating misunderstanding of how wealth is actually built. While owning a home can provide stability, treating your massive mortgage as a genius investment is a trap. The system wants you to believe that stretching your budget to the absolute maximum to buy the biggest house possible is the American dream. In reality, it is a systematic transfer of your wealth to the banking system. When you factor in property taxes, constant maintenance, insurance, and the massive amount of interest you pay over a 30-year mortgage, the actual return on investment for a primary residence is shockingly low, often barely keeping pace with inflation. This is bad debt disguised as good debt. By tying up all of your liquidity in a single highly illiquid asset, you completely destroy your opportunity cost. You have no capital left to invest in cash-flowing assets, businesses, or the S&P 500 index fund. You become house poor, living in a constant state of underlying fear because a single financial shock, like a job loss or a medical emergency, could trigger a catastrophic default. Real wealth is built through flexibility, liquidity, and the ability to deploy capital when the historical debt cycle enters a phase of severe deleveraging. During the 2008 housing crash, millions of people who believed their homes were bulletproof assets became casualties of the system. They lost everything because they did not understand the difference between an asset that puts money in your pocket and a liability that systematically drains it. You must review your housing situation. If your mortgage is consuming more than 30% of your income, you are actively participating in your own wealth destruction. Stop buying into the societal pressure to upgrade your lifestyle. Position yourself defensively. Build a fortress of liquid capital so that when the real estate market inevitably corrects, you are the one buying assets at a massive discount, not the one being foreclosed upon. This connects directly to the third wealth killer, which is perhaps the most insidious because it feels so normal: food and convenience spending. We live in a society that has normalized daily $20 lunches, constant food delivery apps, and premium coffee habits. You might think that a $5 coffee or a $30 delivery order is insignificant. You are wrong. The arithmetic of small leaks is absolutely devastating over time. This is where the lack of delayed gratification becomes financial suicide. I want you to do something right now. Do this right now. Pull out your phone, open your banking app, and count exactly how many times you have purchased food from a restaurant, coffee shop, or delivery service in the last 30 days. Do not estimate. Actually count them. Look at the raw data of your own behavior. Once you have that number, I want you to write that number in the comments below. Be honest with yourself. This interactive reality check is designed to wake you up from your passive consumption. When you add up those seemingly harmless transactions, you will likely find that you are bleeding hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars every single month. This is money that could be deployed into the market. This is capital that possesses massive pricing power if allowed to compound. If you take just $400 a month that you are currently wasting on lazy convenience and instead invest it into a broad market index fund, the compound interest over 30 years will yield nearly $1 million. You are literally eating your future millions. You are trading generational wealth for a temporary dopamine hit delivered in a cardboard box. This behavior is a symptom of a society that refuses to endure even the slightest discomfort. If you want to survive the impending economic crisis, you must radically alter your daily habits. Stop ordering food. Go to the grocery store. Cook your own meals. Take the capital you save and ruthlessly invest it. If this realization just gave you a painful aha moment, hit that like button right now. It is time to take control. Which brings us to the fourth wealth killer, deeply tied to the psychology of consumption: status spending. This is the destruction of your wealth driven entirely by envy and the fear of feeling inadequate. We are bombarded by social media algorithms designed to make us feel like we are falling behind. You see your peers taking luxury vacations, wearing designer clothes, and flashing expensive watches. The natural human response is to feel envy, to feel that you must also purchase these items to signal your value to the world. This is a trap. It is a systematic mechanism designed to keep the working class perpetually broke while enriching the corporations that possess true pricing power. Looking wealthy and being wealthy are two completely different things. True wealth is silent. True wealth is the unspent capital sitting in brokerage accounts, quietly generating dividends and compound interest. Status spending is loud, desperate, and financially devastating. When you buy a $2,000 designer bag on a credit card, you are not elevating your status. You are signaling to the financial world that you do not understand math. You are paying 18% interest to carry a logo that will be out of style in 2 years. You are stealing from your future self to appease people who do not care about you. Ray Dalio's success was built on radically acknowledging reality. The reality is that status spending is a disease. To conquer it, you must ruthlessly eliminate your desire for external validation. You must find pride in the size of your investment portfolio, not the brand of your shoes. The smartest investors in the world, people like Warren Buffett, drive modest cars and live in the same houses they bought decades ago. They understand that every dollar spent on a status symbol is a dollar that cannot be used to buy your freedom. You must stop playing the game of appearances. Cancel your participation in the culture of envy. Protect your mind from the constant psychological warfare of advertising. When you finally free yourself from the need to look rich, you will suddenly find that you have the capital required to actually become rich. This connects directly to the fifth and final wealth killer, the most invisible and insidious drain on your finances: subscriptions. We have transitioned into a subscription-based economy where corporations have realized that the easiest way to extract massive wealth from the population is through small, automated, recurring charges. $10 here, $15 there, $20 for a service you forgot you even signed up for. Because these charges are automatic, they bypass your psychological pain receptors. You do not feel the loss of the money because you never actively hand over cash. This is systematic wealth destruction by 1,000 tiny cuts. Corporations bank on the fact that you are too lazy to audit your credit card statements. They rely on your complacency. These automated leaks might seem insignificant in isolation, but collectively they represent a massive opportunity cost. Think about the streaming services, the premium app memberships, the software you do not use, the gym membership you never scan into. You are funding the profit margins of massive corporations while your own net worth stagnates. I'm giving you a direct, real-world audit. I want you to sit down today, pull up your bank statement, review every single line item, and cancel every single subscription that does not directly contribute to your survival or your ability to build wealth. Do not wait until tomorrow. Do it today. Take the $50 or $100 a month you reclaim and immediately set up an automated transfer to invest it. Turn the weapon of automation against the system. Instead of automatically destroying your wealth, automatically build it. Now, you might be thinking that these 5 wealth killers are just common sense, but you must understand the terrifying macroeconomic historical scale at which these principles operate. We are not just talking about saving a few dollars. We are talking about surviving a historical debt cycle that is about to enter a catastrophic phase of deleveraging. History shows us exactly what happens to populations that are over-leveraged, trapped in depreciating assets, and bleeding cash through consumption. Look at the 1600s Dutch Empire, once the wealthiest superpower on the planet. Their citizens became obsessed with status spending, pouring fortunes into tulips and luxury goods, taking on massive debt to finance a lifestyle they could not afford. When the bubble burst, the wealth destruction was absolute, and the empire never recovered. Look at the 1970s inflation crisis in the United States, where the cost of living skyrocketed and those who had not positioned their capital in hard assets or cash-flowing businesses were crushed. Look at 1980s Japan, where a massive real estate and stock market bubble fueled by underwater debt and corporate leverage led to a lost decade of economic stagnation. And look at the 2008 crash in the USA, where millions of people who believed the lies about housing and easy credit lost their homes, their jobs, and their dignity. The historical precedent is undeniable. The debt cycle is ruthless and it does not care about your feelings. It will systematically crush those who do not implement strict financial discipline. Ray Dalio's entire philosophy is based on the reality that these macroeconomic forces are like gravity. You cannot negotiate with them. The window to prepare is rapidly closing. Before 2027, the global economy will undergo a massive deleveraging event. The central banks will be forced to make impossible choices, liquidity will dry up, and the people who are burdened by auto loans, underwater mortgages, expensive food habits, status symbols, and endless subscriptions will be wiped out. They will become the ultimate casualties of a system designed to exploit their lack of discipline. The stakes have literally never been higher, and the margin for error is shrinking by the day. Every single dollar you allocate is a soldier in your financial army, and right now, by engaging in these 5 wealth-killing habits, you are sending your soldiers into a slaughterhouse. You must understand that the global financial system is highly interconnected, meaning that when the deleveraging begins, it will trigger a domino effect of catastrophic proportions. The banks will tighten lending standards, making it impossible to refinance your underwater debt. The corporations that sell you convenience and status will drastically raise prices to maintain their margins, leveraging their pricing power against your diminishing purchasing power. If you are chained to expensive auto loans, massive mortgages, daily delivery apps, designer clothes, and a dozen streaming services, you will have absolutely no maneuverability. You will be a sitting duck. Vanguard and Fidelity have published endless studies showing that the primary differentiator between those who retire with dignity and those who die in poverty is not their salary, but their savings rate and their ability to avoid behavioral mistakes. Warren Buffett famously said that the chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken. Right now, those chains are wrapping around your financial future. The subscriptions are chains. The car payments are chains. The societal expectations are chains. You must break them before 2027. Ray Dalio's study of the rise and fall of empires proves that periods of extreme wealth inequality are always followed by periods of massive wealth redistribution. But the government will not save you. The redistribution will not happen through handouts. It will happen through the ruthless efficiency of the free market, transferring capital from the impatient to the patient, from the over-leveraged to the cash-rich. When the 2008 crash devastated the middle class, the smart investors who had avoided these 5 wealth killers swooped in and bought real estate and equities at historic discounts, setting their families up for generations. That exact same opportunity is approaching rapidly, but you cannot participate if you are broke. You cannot participate if you are spending your surplus capital on fleeting conveniences. It requires a fundamental rewiring of your brain. You must look at a shiny new car and see a wealth-destroying liability. You must look at a massive house and see a liquidity trap. You must look at a restaurant menu and see the opportunity cost of compound interest. You must look at designer brands and see attacks on the insecure. You must look at your automated bank charges and see systematic theft. Once you adopt this mindset, the world changes. You stop being a victim of the macroeconomic debt cycle and start becoming a master of it. The fear of financial ruin transforms into the quiet confidence of the prepared. You will no longer feel envy toward those who flash their fake wealth, because you will know the devastating reality of their balance sheets. You will possess the greatest luxury money can buy, peace of mind and absolute freedom. But this transformation requires immediate, massive action. You cannot just listen to this advice and go back to your normal life. You must execute the real-world audits I demanded of you. Pull out your banking app, count the food purchases, cancel the subscriptions today, sell the depreciating assets, funnel every spare cent into your S&P 500 index fund. Protect your capital with ruthless aggression. The storm is coming, and history shows exactly who will survive and who will be destroyed. You now have the blueprint to avoid this fate. You know the exact 5 wealth killers that you must eliminate from your life immediately. You stand at a stark binary choice. You can choose comfort, succumb to the societal pressure to consume, and face absolute financial destruction when the crash arrives. Or you can choose the path of the smart investor. You can embrace the pain of discipline, ruthlessly cut your expenses, cancel your subscriptions, stop buying depreciating cars, cook your own food, ignore the envy of status spending, and deploy every available dollar into assets that compound over time. This is how you protect your wealth. This is how you survive the debt cycle. This is how you ensure that when the biggest wealth transfer in 75 years happens, you are the one receiving the wealth, not the one losing it. The arithmetic is simple, but the execution requires relentless willpower. Now that you have audited your habits, I want to know exactly where you stand. Tell me right now in the comments, which of these 5 wealth killers hit you the hardest? Which one is secretly draining your future? Acknowledge it, write it down, and commit to destroying it. If you are serious about escaping the trap and joining the winning side of the impending economic crisis, you must stay informed and vigilant. Subscribe now, protect your wealth, master the patterns of history, and start building your financial fortress today.